Delighted to have Celtic fan Ryan Fitzsimmons with me to preview the semi-final. It's Murrayfield, it's 1:30. It's Hearts against Celtic. Sum it all up for me, Ryan. Are you in confident mood?
Judging for the last couple of games for Celtic, I think there is a right for Celtic fans to be more confident of what we could have been just over a month ago, where the start to the season was questioned by a lot of people. But I think the last two games have really helped put a lot of the doubt away. But at the end of the day, we're still playing a team who has statistically had a better start to the season. There's no denying that. Hearts have had a remarkable start. They're still a tough team to beat. And by no means they will present quite a challenge to us on Sunday. I'm more confident heading into the game. I think with this success that's been built over the last 2 years, we know that winning a treble, if possible, is something we should aim for. So with that weighing on the players' minds, I'm sure, and take the positive results as well, I'm sure the players will be up for going out and get us through to the final, see us through to yet another one.
Yeah. Do you expect a physical game from the Jambos?
Definitely. I think the past few occasions is all you have to look at. Hearts are a team who play a tough game, and Craig Levine's a manager who will probably try and get that into his players. That don't let Celtic get anything easy. Get right into them, and it's one of the ways that we don't necessarily go out and play a tough game. And sometimes I feel like one of our disadvantages is we let it happen too easily to us. You see us go up against the likes of Motherwell, who are a team that always come to mind, and even Hearts. And sometimes you get the kind of wee dirty moments in the game, and sometimes it helps you win a game. Sometimes you've just got to sit there and accept that, all right, we weren't hard enough, and we let them kick us around the park, basically. So I'm expecting Hearts, but you get players, Naismith and such, you know the names, who can really get right into players' faces and make it difficult for anybody. So I would be expecting Hearts to come out and play quite a tough game.
Murrayfield is going to have the exact specifications that Hampden Park has. Is that a benefit for Celtic?
Well, I mean, after the whole catastrophe that was the decision to field the match, where to field the match after all of it passed, I think my initial reaction was I would have preferred Hampden or Murrayfield. Hampden has been to our advantage over the last two seasons. Obviously, we're undefeated there, and things have gone more than well at Hampden for us. But you know, at the end of the day, it's a neutral ground. Both teams really go in with the same sort of advantage. I'd say no one's got an advantage over the other, but it's good to see that, you know, it should be fit enough for a football game. But at the end, my opinion is, at the end of the day, a football game's a football game. It's on the middle. It's on the field. That's what matters. It's different when it's an actual home game. You know, you've got 60,000 of your own fans, but it's split. It's even. And to me, it's just the same thing that would happen at Hampden. And we've got to take it like it is a match at Hampden. It's a neutral venue. We go out and we know what we have to do, and that is win the game. Whether that's at Hampden or Murrayfield, to me, it doesn't matter. It's just a game of football, a neutral venue. Get it over and done with, and do the business on the park. That is probably how I would summarise my view of it all.
Yeah, you've mentioned that Celtic over the last couple of games domestically have been doing well. Who do you think in particular, if you're looking for a match winner in your side, it's going to be?
Well, judging over the last couple of games, there's one man who's starting to come more into a little bit of form now, and that's Odsonne Edouard. I think at the start of the season, there was, you know, these fitness issues that cropped up, and then we still had Dembele at the club. There was always going to be that decision of who's the man to lead the line and who's going to be the goal scorer. Dembele left, Edouard got injured, Griffiths got into the game, into the team for a few games, and then really it was just back and forth between the two. We tried to experiment with two up front, and you know, a lot of things really, I think, came into play that stopped Edouard from really playing his full potential. But now that he's got a few goals behind him and he's gathering a bit of form, a bit more confidence, now is the time for him to show why we paid £9 million for him. And this is exactly the type of game where I'd like to see that £9 million worth displayed on the field. I think he's such a good player when he plays his best football, when he's got the service around him to score goals. You're looking at a very, very clinical striker. And this Sunday, he could deal a lot of damage to Hearts, something that at the start of the season he struggled to do. But at the weekend, scoring 2 goals, getting a goal against St Johnstone, he's on form. I think he could get a 1 or 2 at the weekend as well.
I presume you don't think this is where the treble ambitions will end. So give us your prediction.
At the weekend, you know what, it's difficult. It could go anyway. Hearts have had a fantastic start to the season, there's no denying that. Even when they slipped up and they did suffer their first loss to the hands of Rangers, they got right back on track. They lifted their heads, didn't let it bring them into sort of bad form. They went back on the road and they've won games again. So there's no denying they will make it tough for Celtic. But I'm firmly optimistic that we can continue on with trying to chase this treble, and I think that will be at the back of every player's minds when pushing for the win this weekend. I think we will win the game, whether it's as emphatic as the last couple of games have been against Hearts, scoring 6 and 4 goals. Maybe that's a different story. Maybe that's a little bit out of reach when playing against a team who defensively always make it a hard game for Celtic. So I think it'll be a low scoring one, but I can see us getting through maybe, 1-0 or a 2-1 win.